Hello Infiniteers, and welcome back to Gusteau's Kitchen. We're going to continue working on the build for this toy box again today, and our goal in this episode will be to build the plating station, Gusteau's office, and the red door that leads into the dining area, all of which are on this end of the kitchen. Here are some screenshots from the Ratatouille movie that shows these things in the kitchen. This first shot shows where these are in the kitchen layout. Linguini, again, enters from the alley through the back door. The prep station with the sink and the two big stoves are in front of him, and the other two prep stations are on the left, as well as the saucier station through the left archway. Gusteau's office is in the back on the right. It's lined with wooden panels and windows with blinds. The red door that leads to the dining area is on the back wall to the left of Linguini's head. Between the office and that red door is the plating station, which we can't see in this shot, but we do see it in this one, and here we get another look at that back wall. The red door is just visible on the left side of the screen. There's some wood paneling along the wall to the right of the red door. The plating station is in front of that paneling. It's a stainless steel table with 3 heat lamps above it. Gusteau's office is behind Linguini. Here's another shot of the red door and that back wall. Linguini is working at the saucier station. And here's another shot of that back wall. You can see that there is wooden paneling on the left side of that red door too. There's a brass kickboard along the bottom of the door, and brass plates near the middle that employees can use to push open the doors. Here's a shot of the plating station with Gusteau's office behind it. The waiter has just entered through the red door, which is off-screen to the left. Again, you can see that it's a stainless steel table and there's a heat lamp above it. Just one of the 3 is visible in this shot. And as the waiter continues walking into the kitchen, the camera swivels to the right to follow him. And that gives us this shot, which shows the plating station as it relates to the other stations in the kitchen. Again, you can see the 3 heat lamps above it. And one more shot here shows a chef working at one of the big stoves in the middle of the room. Gusteau's office is behind him, and you get a closer look at the wood paneling around the office. The plating station is behind that chef on the left. So this is what we're going to attempt to build today. And I want to begin with the plating station. And we're going to connect that with a rail slide off of this prep station. That's how the player can get over there. We're going to put 4 of these down. And then we're going to go down to the terrain category to this block. And I want you to line up the edge of the block with that rail slide and then move 4 nudges to the left. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Drop it there. And if you did it right, you should have 2 terrain cubes between the left edge of that terrain block underneath and the rail slide. All right, we are using terrain for the plating station because I want to put plates on the plating station. And the trouble is, if we make it out of stainless steel, I can't put these down on top of the floor blocks that are there. So in order to be able to use this, we have to put this on the terrain. Okay? And so to do this, our plating station is going to be a little different than the one in the movie. And we don't have a stainless steel terrain theme, but we do have a Golden Realm of Asgard theme. I'll set that to be my theme. And I think this makes for a very fancy looking plating station. And if we come over and build our plates, we can now put them on the station, which I think is important for a plating station to have plates. and then we can put things on the plates. So I think that works out pretty well. All right, let me grab my screenshot here from my plating stations that I took. Okay, so for the plating station in the movie, it was kind of solid underneath, and this is the way that D-Animator had built it, but it doesn't really look nice with this terrain theme, so I'm going to change mine up a little bit. And we're going to style some table legs on this thing that are black, so we'll use the blacktop theme for that. And we'll put one of these on each corner. And I think this is going to just match the fancier look of this, rather than trying to put stainless steel cabinets underneath this thing like they had in the movie, because that's just not going to look good with that tabletop. So instead we'll do that, and I think that makes for a very nice plating station, so I like that. Okay, now we're going to come over here and let's grab this piece and put it back. I'm going to come over to this tall block. We want to come right to the middle of that plate, in the middle of this thing, and we're going to go straight up. And what I want to do is put this at the same level as the top of the wall. So I need to bring this up a little bit further, so that when we put the ceiling on, this will go right up all the way to the top. And what we're going to do now is build the heat lamps. So let me pick that up, put it back without moving it. We're going to put 2 more of these down like that. And then let me grab my screenshot here. Where did I put the screenshot for the heat lamps? Oh, here we go. Okay. Then what we will do is put 2 of those down like that. Pick up this thing. We'll come right over here to the underside of that. Put 1 of those on every end. Okay. And then we're going to look for the dome. We're going to put 1 of those below it. And at this point, we'll change the theme to be our stainless steel theme. We got to go left to that, to our metal 1 texture. I'll set that to be my theme. And I'm going to rotate this block, I think. Let me pick that up, because I don't like the way the texture is going up and down. If we rotate it, it goes left and right. I think that looks better. Okay, so there's the top of our heat lamps. And for the heat lamps themselves, let's come over here. We're going to grab this piece, pick that up, put it back, and we'll use this for the perimeter of the heat lamps. This lines up really nice with our dome bottom there. And those look like heat lamps, so I like that. And if we come up to Creativitoys, we go to the right, and we look for the area light. We can put that right underneath, center it on the lamp. just like that. And then I think we can fit these little things, these little flagpole middles that we used over there. I believe we can put these right here in the middle, and we don't have any collision problems. So then it won't look like the light is just there with nothing to support it. There we go. There's our heat lamps. And they go all the way up to the ceiling, which we will put on in a future episode. So I like that. And that's the plating station. And eventually, what we're going to do, we can put those on now, but I'm going to pick up this sign. I put this down earlier. This is out of Building Sets Group 2. One of the things we're going to build is the gourmet hamburger. So we'll put this over here on the middle of the first plate. Up under Building Sets Group 7, we find the Sugar Rush buildings. And there's a cupcake up here. There's actually several of them. And that kind of looks like it could be a cherry cupcake. Or you could use this one if you want. Or that one. Any of these will do. So whatever strikes your fancy. I think that one looks kind of fancy. So we'll use that one. And then we'll put something in the middle there a little bit later. Okay, and that is it for the plating station. Now let's work on the wall along the back. And for that, I want to come over here and pick up the surface, the large floor surface, put that back. We're going to come grab the large block wall. Let's just start putting the wall along the wood paneling along the wall. So for the wood paneling, we're going to use two textures. The main one is under the Star Wars textures. And we already used this for the loaf of bread on one of those plating stations. But it's the Bright Tree Village Hut floor. I'll set that to be my theme. We're going to put 3 of those down like that. And then grab the block wall. Put those up like that. What we're doing there is leaving a hole for the panel insert. And unlike the playthrough toy box, I'm going to make a few changes. I'm going to make mine a little bit taller than I did in the original. Because sometimes, after I've played it, and after I've started building it, I see things I like to tweak. And so that's what I want to do there. Alright, we'll come back and add the inserts there a little bit later. Next, we'll work on the red door. And for that, we're going to need to go back to this part of the drawer. We need the tall block here. We're going to put a door frame around the door. Three, 4, 5. Yeah. Trying to count here what I did. Alright, and then we'll put one of these here. Come over and grab not the long one, but the narrow one. Followed by the long one. Spin that around, put another one down, another one down, And then another wedge block. Like that. And actually I think that's got to go up. Sorry. Forgot to leave room for the top of the door frame. This is kind of the decorative arch that goes above the door frame. And it's a little more elaborate in the movie, but we can't build anything quite that detailed with basic blocks, so that will have to do. Then we do that. And then build the other side of the door frame. Okay, so there's the frame for the big red doors that go out to the dining area. And now we'll grab this piece, put it back. And I think we have to do, let's see, we're going to put this here. Excuse me. And I want to change the theme. Well, let's stick with the brown theme. Well, no, let's go ahead and build the door. We're going to scroll around a little bit here in the style list, but I think it'd be better if we don't jump around. Focus on one thing at a time. All right, so we're going to use the gold gloss theme. I'll set that to be my theme. That's going to be for the brass. Oops, cancel. For the brass kick plate at the bottom of the door. And I'm kind of doing it this way because I want a seam that's going to go up the middle of the door. It has to be a seam so that it kind of looks like it's two doors that will split open. And for the door, we're going to use the red metal theme. I think that pretty well matches those red doors, and I like that. And we'll come up here. Put those in like that. Leave room for the for the brass plates that you use to push the doors open. And just thinking, I can actually save a little bit of memory here. If we do it this way. There. I think that's going to look better. Okay, and then we'll come down here, and we're going to change the theme again to that brass theme, that gold gloss. And there we go. There are the doors, the red doors that lead into the dining area. Okay, and then we're going to build some paneling on the other side of the door. So let's pick up this piece, put it back. We're going to slide over directly across over here. Once again, let's change our theme back to our wood theme. Which is that one. And this time we're just going to put down enough blocks, 5 of them, so we have just one room for one panel, because we got to leave room for Gusteau's office. Okay, so we've basically mirrored what we have over here, but just one of those. Okay. All right, now for Gusteau's office, I originally built this using D-Animator's pattern, but after reviewing those screenshots in preparation for this, I decided that that it would look a little bit better if I tweaked it. And so that's what I did. So what we're going to do is we are going to build something that looks a little bit closer to what's in the movie. I just think it's going to look so much better to do that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to leave room for a door, because Gusteau's office had a door and D-Animator didn't leave room for a door. And so I've kind of changed the layout of this in order to leave room for a door. So we're going to come over here. We're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? And what I just did was I left enough room for 4 blocks. So this is 3 blocks wide. That's 1 block wide. So we have a 4 block wide door, and that's what I've done here. So that's where this side of the door frame goes. We're going to raise this up and go all the way up, the same height that we did for the other side of the door frame. Okay? And then, let's see, we're going to use the same piece that we used over here for the edge of the stove. So I'll pick that up, put it back. And we're going to use this for the bottom edge of the wall, the wood wall. And then we're going to come up to the middle of this block, put another 3 of these across. We're going to come all the way up here. Okay, so what we're doing now is framing in the wall. And in the movie, the corner of the office was kind of a pillar, a wooden post, which is not what D-Animator had. So that's why I want to do it this way. Okay? And then we're going to come over here. Put those in like that. And again, just framing in the office. And there we go. And now what you can do, since these are all going to be hidden, you can take out these little things because the player is not going to be able to get into the office, so they're never going to see these. So you can take these little floor tile pieces out. And if you wanted to, you could replace these 4 pieces with a single terrain piece that fits in there and save a little memory. All right, so there is the office in the corner. And now what we're going to do is just kind of frame in the door. We're going to leave room for the windows. We're going to put these little things all the way around the perimeter here. Notice it's in the middle of these blocks. Let's see. I had those things down that far. That's what kind of bugs me a little bit about my design here. I'm wondering if I had this at the right height. No, I did not. That needs to come up here. That's where I went awry. Should have realized that was a little too low. Okay, so we'll raise this back up. Sorry about that. I know those of you who are trying to follow along and build this, I'm kind of changing this as I went, or as I'm going. So sorry about that. Okay, that's better. Alright, so we're going to leave room for one of these, which means the next panel has to go here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, next one goes there. Yeah, everything's lining up much better now. And then on this side, again, line this up underneath. Like that. Okay, and there we go. That frames in all of the wood. At this point, we're done with that wood texture. Okay, let's put in the windows next, I think. And for that, the best texture that I've found, if you go to the left and look for the crystal texture, none of these other ones really look like glass, but that does. It's not the glass we see in the movie, but it looks like glass. Looks like a fancy kind of glass. And now this thing really pops. And there you go. How does that look? That looks pretty cool. Now we have kind of a door frame. We've got the windows like you see in the movie. And we got windows over here as well. So that looks really, really sharp. I like that. Okay. And then for the panels over here, again, we'll use this big theme. But for the texture here, we're going to keep going to the left. We're going to use this Wood 1 texture. I'll set that to be my theme. And then we'll just fill in those panels. And there we go. That looks pretty cool. And then again, I had found this in the building sets group too. It's like the only piece we have from Ratatouille. And of course, this sign is too big for this tiny little restaurant. But I thought if we put it on either side of the door here, that kind of gives you a nice look. It's something about Gusteau's that's actually in here. If you wanted, you could put this on the door too, because in the screenshots, this was on the door. What you could do, though, in order to make that work, is flip these textures around for the door. Put them on the back side for both the wood and the glass, which puts it a little bit deeper than this, which I think, now that I'm doing this, would also kind of help reinforce the fact that this is a door. This isn't the same as the rest of the sides of this office. Oops. The fact that it sits a little bit deeper kind of sets it off a little bit from the rest of the walls on this thing. I think it may give you just a subtle indication that this isn't like the rest of the walls on this structure. But the nice thing here is you can then put this right up against it like that, and then you have Gusteau's name on the office door, just like you did in the movie. Doesn't look quite the same as the movie, but looks good. And it's another way to get Gusteau into the picture and help establish the theme of the toy box. So there we go. The door is set a little bit deeper, and you can put the sign on the door just like that. So I like that a lot. And with that, I believe this end of the kitchen is done. Next time, we will build the saucier station in the little room inside the archway on the other wall. Until then, I want to thank you for watching, and leave a comment before you go. I haven't had many comments lately on my videos, so let me know if you're still watching and what you think of the kitchen so far. This is the classic toy box that the vast majority of you wanted to see and voted for, so let me know what you think of it. And as always, if you do like it, and if you enjoy my toy box videos, please like and subscribe for more toy box designs like this. Well, that's all for me today. Take care.